Good morning. So, in the last class, we've been able to tell you the different libraries and the different software that we need to install to be able to use to do data science coding in Visual Studio Python. I think the last thing we installed that day is that we went to extension and we installed our Jupyter, if you can remember. So now, the next thing we need to do now is that we need to create an environment because all the libraries that we mentioned, like the pandas, the NumPy, the scikit, the matplotlib, the seaborn, the network, and the likes, we need to install them while we are creating an environment. So the software to create an environment is what we call Anaconda, which will be stored in the last class. So let's search for Anaconda. So the Anaconda always come with Anaconda prompt and Anaconda navigator. This one, you'll be putting your command codes for it to work, but this one you can use it like you are using any other software. But this one is heavy, so that's why I prefer using this one. So now the next thing I'm going to do is that I will click on conda. So when I click on conda, possibly if you like, you can actually enter the particular, let's try it like that, maybe it will work. So for example, maybe I want to create my document, my environment inside a document, and let me create a folder and call the name of the folder my env, just for example. So after that, let me try and enter cd space, okay, sorry, dir. So I just want to be sure that I'm inside documents. So I'll say cd space what? Documents. Cd means change directory. So I'm inside documents now. And let me enter that my env. I'll say cd space what? My env. Okay, so let me create my environment here. So the code is conda space create space hyphen, okay, sorry, space create space hyphen name space my env. So my env is the name of my environment. So after that, I can press enter so that we'll see what will happen. So you have to wait for it to respond. Okay. Okay. Now, when you are doing this, you must connect. Please let me please let me on your hotspot. Now you need to do it again because as we are doing it, it's trying to install some things from the internet. But because I'm not connected, it's writing failed. So let's try to connect. Okay. Okay. So which of it is this? Okay, let me try and sorry, I'm trying to connect to the internet. Second one. Okay. Sorry. OMQ. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So I'm going to rewrite the code while I connect to the internet. So that's to tell you anytime you are creating your environment, make sure you have your data connected. So again, conda space what? Create space hyphen name space the name of your environment. So let's try again. Okay, so I'm on the internet now. So let's see what will happen. Can you see that something is happening already? So what it's trying to do is that it's trying to go to the library to what? To install them. So it's trying to ask me that environment location. Am I okay? I'll say which yes. Good. I'm okay. So just try and observe as is any question that you had. So it's what this is saying now is that the environment what has been created. Exactly. Now, after the environment has been created, I might decide to activate this environment. So how will I activate it? It's even guiding you again. It said you should type what? Conda is what? Activate my env. Enter again. So you wait for the response. You understand? So this is a sign that the environment has been what? Has been created, and at the same time, the environment has been activated. In case you are finding it difficult to use Anaconda prompt, I would advise you to possibly shut me up. So possibly I can put up a video that will take you through how to use command prompts. But we are using Anaconda command prompt in this case. But if you know how to use command prompt generally, that will not be a problem in using Anaconda command prompt. I think that is clear. Now you need to understand something. Now I've been able to pass through this level. So the next thing is let me go back to my Visual Studio Code and create a new Jupyter notebook. Now look at something. And that's why I tell people anytime you are trying to uh, anytime you are trying to set up your environment, which we've done already, uh, you always assess it using what? Jupyter Notebook. Even by default, I didn't stress myself. It has brought something to guide me. So I just click on what? Create what? New Jupyter. But if it's not giving you that permission, I think there's a place here. You can just click on new file. Let me see if I can get it. Then can you see? It will bring the what? The Jupyter Notebook. So I'm just giving you another what? Alternative to doing that. But because he noticed that that's the first time we are installing it, it has given us an icon or a button we can click. Fine. While I click this, you observe something. It said, do you want to install the recommended Python what? Extension? So you don't need anybody to teach you. So definitely you click on what? Install. Because without the Python extension, it might not still work. Do you understand? So just be well opened. Open your heart to it and follow all the instruction that is given you. So as you can see that I'm already installing the what? The Python extension. That means we've installed two extensions. I've installed the notebook Jupyter, and that's to tell you that before the Jupyter notebook will work, you need what? Python extension. So it's still writing installing. So I'm going to wait until it will write installed before I will continue. Are you getting all the steps? But while I'm doing this, let me quickly take you through a revision on how to use command prompt generally. Let me use normal command prompt to teach you how to use. Every system will always have a command prompt. Every system. I want to quickly tell you something about directory. You will notice that I'm going from one directory to the what? To the other. So let me explain the meaning of this. What this is saying literally is what? I'm in C. Let me show you where I am now. Let me show you where so that you understand. Window E. I'm pressing Window E on my system so that it will take me to the file explorer. I go to this computer, which is C. This is the C you are seeing there. So when I double click on C, you can see a lot of things here. Users, after users, you can now see what? Shola. So are you following? So this is the same thing you are seeing in that place. Let me show you command prompt. Initially when computer started, they started with command, but because people that are computer literate are very few, that is why they invented Windows or all these iOS so that it will be more easier to interact with computer. So let me show you that it's the same place. Now, the last word before the greater than sign is where you are. So that means I'm in what? In Shola directory. The what? The last word before the greater than sign is where you are. So that means I'm in what? So if I want to see what is inside Shola now, I'll press dir. What do I call it? Dir. Present. Can you see that Anaconda conda? The same thing that I'm seeing here is the same thing that I'm also seeing. Can you see the Anaconda, the conda, the continuum, the V. Do you get it? So if you want to see the content of a directory, easily press what? You press dir. Do you understand? For example, now if I want to go back, I'll press cd dot dot turn back. If I want to see what is inside these users, I told you the particular word that is before the greater than sign is where you are. So if I want to see what is there, I'll press dir again. Can you see what is there? Shola. So if I want to enter Shola, I'll press what? Cd space what? Shola. Shola. So this is just like a form of revision on how to use command. So let's go back. Can you see is what is installed already? So let's go back to our notes Jupyter note. Thank you. So I'm going to click on create new file. I'll click on just come like this, type Jupyter to bring it. Like I'm trying to type J, you understand? So create new file. Are you following? So it's trying to tell me that what did I want to call the name? Whatever name you want to call it. Maybe I'm analyzing the data, maybe insurance. Are you getting me? So where do you want to keep it? Maybe I want to keep it inside document. Don't forget I created a folder that I call my AMV, Abby. So maybe I want to call it insurance. And I'll click on what? Create. Sorry, there's a problem. File, let me redo it. New file. Sorry, Jupyter notebook. Sorry, that's a mistake I made. I'll click not create new file. I'll click on what? Jupyter notebook. This is how it must be. This one is a normal one. You understand? This is how it should work. Is that clear? So now, after I've done this, you can actually try and work on your layouts. There are some unnecessary things that is showing that I can remove if I like. Let me try and expand this. Uh, here it is. I just remove that one so that it's just be this one only. Do you understand? Now, this is my what? My Jupyter notebook. How do you know it? It will always have an extension of what? .ipyn. What do I call it? .ipynb. These are the things you must take notes. So when it has this, aha, is a sign that you are what? You are closer to where you are. Exactly. Now, after you've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to start importing my environment. I'm going to what? Start importing my what? My environment. It is when you are importing that you will know that it has been what? Installed successfully. I think because of time, that's where I will stop for today. So let's try and import the pandas. What do I call it? The pandas. So that means I will say import pandas as PD. Now I know you'll be wondering what is the meaning of as? What is the meaning of PD? It's just like as you are importing each of it, you are giving it a name. It's just like you are declaring an object. You understand? So this panda, so that anytime I want to talk about pandas, I will not need to write pandas. I will just write what? PD. Do you understand? That's the meaning of that. So let's see what will happen. Even though before you continue all this, you need to actually select a kernel. What I call it? A kernel. So I'll click on select kernel so that I will be sure that I've chosen, I've not connected the environment. Even though I've created the environment with what? With notebook, sorry, with Anaconda. But I've not connected it with this Jupyter. So this is where I will connect it. So I will say my env. Let me see if it will see it. Env, I'll press enter. Now let me come back. Since it's not picking it, so I'll just click on Python environment. Can you see? This is it at the last. My EN, it will see it by itself. So that means you click on what? Python environment first, and you now see it. So I'll now click. So make sure you are still on the internet. You understand? So I've actually selected this. So let me run to see if it's working or if it's not working. I'm coming. Like we said, you still want me to create and pick the environment. I've picked it before now. My env. Okay, I think it's loading. Waiting for it. So this is what I'm waiting for. So it's actually trying to install it in case it's not well installed. If you notice, you will notice that when I was actually doing the environment, I only said conda create environment. Me, sometimes I don't like to actually install all the packages at once. There's a code for it. If I want to install all the packages, the code will be long. It will be conda create hyphen name my env python equals 3.10 pandas jupyter seaborn scikit keras tensor softflow. Do you understand? That means I want to do it what? At once. So, but if I'm doing it at once, I might not be able to know where the problem is. So that's why I just like to create the empty environment. Then I will now be installing the packages one after the other. Because that one could be very tedious that even you will not really know where the problem is coming from. So if I can just try to install these pandas, I think I'm off